Welcome, everybody, to NWSL Live. I'm Jordan Angeli, your host of the next, 45 minutes, and we'll see how long we have for you tonight. It's always a guess because I've got Lindsey and Jeff Kassouf who are going to join me, and those two, man, they like to talk a little bit about soccer, about NWSL action. So excited to welcome them in with me here. Guys, how are you doing? Jeff, it feels a little Inception. Earlier, I was on the screen that was behind you. It was like, what's happening here?
I'm off of there now, but we've got a couple articles. We got one on our guest of the hour, so still got some Inception going.
Oh, some marketing behind you. Equalizer Soccer's Jeff Kassouf, showing off what he's been doing all week, writing a ton of articles, his podcast, everything. Make sure you guys check out Equalizer Soccer. He does such a good job over there. And Lindsey, you're calling Olympic Games coming up very soon. Olympic roster for the U.S. Women's National Team being dropped tomorrow. You excited?
Oh, totally. I mean, you and the three of us have been debating who's on the roster behind the scenes. So yes, and it's fun. It's fun. It's an exciting time for all the players, and I'm pumped for everyone that's involved.
Yeah. Well, it was a good weekend of NWSL action as well. And guys, today we can see the chat. So if you have things to add to the conversations, if you have questions I'm just going to cue it up. We've got a guest in the next segment. We have Ebony Salmon, newcomer in NWSL. Man, does she know how to make a splash with that. So let us know if you got any questions for her, and we'll make sure to try to get those in the next segment. But first, as I was mentioning, it was a good weekend of NWSL action, lots of games, a lot of storylines happening. So I'm going to do this little quick, fast break, right? We're going to make this quick here. We're going to just talk about one thing each. Jeff, you get something. Lori, you get something. Your favorite talking point over the weekend. I'm going to start with you, Jeff. What caught your eye, and what do you feel like is one of the biggest storylines coming out of the last weekend of NWSL action?
Fast break. Well, I want to say, too, in that Twitch chat, Lori had been very competitive about being right about the U.S. roster. So drop your own predictions in there.
Yeah.
And we'll see if you can get that 100% accuracy as Lori is striving for. But this weekend, I thought a lot happening. I think I won't be repetitive with the guests that we have on and say too much, since we'll get to that. But that was obviously a big moment there for Louisville. But I think the courage prevailing in the way that they did, that winning goal, or what ended up being the winning goal, Sam Mewis and Lynn Williams combining. I think an important 3 points for a team that we've talked about on this show that has needed a little bit extra, maybe in a way that they haven't in the past. So, I think that was, you look at teams that are looking to get on track. I think Lori's got that for her moment too. Not maybe on track, but teams that need those points at this given time. And I think the Courage are one of them. So, a big 3 points over the weekend for North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. A big game. That was a CBS game as well. So a lot of eyeballs on that one. Going to maybe the other CBS game, Lori, it feels right because you were on the call there and you got to experience what it was like in Providence Park again with fans. Can you just talk about the atmosphere to feel that again? How good was that?
Oh my goodness. And those are some of the best fans in the world, right? Like Providence Park being one of the best atmospheres in all of soccer in general. So yeah, amazing. And I think that's actually what carried that team through, because there was a little bit of a lull for Portland and even Kansas City. They're a lot hotter than most people expected that day. And but yeah, big, huge point or 3 points, I should say, for Portland. And that's really kind of my talking point, because it's something that has been an ongoing conversation through these first 5-6 games, which is how important it is for these teams to get points early on. It's not something you typically talk about, but with Olympics, teams going to be losing players. And Portland showed that. We didn't expect a lot of those players for Portland, the international players, to come in and start right away. Every single one of them outside of Sophia Smith did. And I think that was a huge statement to say, listen, we have 2 more games actually before the U.S. players leave to get this right and to pick up max points. And they showed that. And they got the 1-0 win and done and dusted, and then moving on to the weekend.
Yeah, it is really interesting just how the season is with the Challenge Cup at the beginning, and then these games before the Olympics, it is important to pick up points now and get your team feeling good before that. Some players are going to be gone for the Olympics. So a lot to talk about still. I like this. Fast break. We did pretty good, guys. You guys, 6 minutes. Not bad for us. Not bad. So it is a little bit of a fast break. I was trying to think of something witty for a
counterattack.
Soccer term. Counterattack. I don't know. Same.
5 minutes
but there's
one for Jeff.
There's a lot of questions already for Ebony in the Twitch chat. So we are going to take a short break, and we're going to be back with Racing Louisville's newest goal scorer, Ebony Salmon, just after this. Welcome back. Tuesday night NWSL Live. I'm with Jordan Angeli, and I am excited to welcome in one of NWSL's newcomers this summer. There are a few across the league, but I don't know if one made as big of a splash as Ebony Salmon did in her first game for Racing Louisville. It's been fun already to watch Ebony play, not only abroad, but now here in NWSL. Ebony, how are you doing? Welcome to NWSL Live.
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. It's been a quick few weeks for you. You get here, getting acclimated to the team. How's it gone? Just getting to know these new players on your new team here in racing.
Yeah, it's been really good. They're a great group of girls, so it's made it a lot easier for me, obviously, moving away from home and moving to a new country and a new league.
Yeah, and you're young too. You've been a pro for a few years, but I think people don't realize that you're coming in this new experience to play somewhere different is new for you. But what a way to make your mark within seconds. You get a couple of touches. You not only score a goal, but you were number one on Sports Center top 10 plays. Is that something like? Do you have something equivalent to that in England, or what was that moment like?
We don't really have anything equivalent, and when I went into training on Monday morning, everyone was saying it to me, and I honestly didn't even know what it was, and they were all saying how big it was, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And we're going to show you this. I'm going to bring in Jeff and Lori after we have you just talk through this goal because you had come in seconds before that. And I want to know from your point of view, what had you seen that maybe you thought, okay, this is a way I could exploit this defense here and potentially get off the mark early on. Did you feel like there was a goal in this game for you even before you came in?
Yeah, definitely. I think watching the game from the bench, you could see how end-to-end the game was and how transitional it was. I think before I came on, both teams had had good chances to go ahead and neither team had taken them. So I knew that we'd carry on creating chances when I was on the pitch, and I just wanted to go and take one of those chances.
I love it. I love it. It was such a fun goal to watch too, because your patience on the ball within the box was top notch. Really, you just let everybody try to predict where you were going, and you went the opposite direction. So I'll get Lori and Jeff in here in a second, so we can have them ask some questions to you too. Here's the look. I think you can talk us through it, Ebony, if you can see it on the right side of your screen there, just your thoughts here. Yeah. And the celebration, like what a fun celebration there. And the fans, what'd you think about the fans for the first time there being in the stadium?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that's the first time that I've played in front of those fans, and they were so loud. They were so good throughout the whole game. So I think just to get that goal and to see the whole kind of crowd erupt was really good.
Well, Ebony, I was really interested in the signing that Louisville made because I thought there was a really interesting mesh between kind of how you play or how you played with Bristol City and how Louisville's been playing early. That you were kind of that outlet for Bristol City. That was something that Louisville in those first few games looked like it needed as a team. And I don't know, maybe I should have said that even louder because now you come in first minute. I feel like proving the point maybe. But what about Louisville itself was of interest to you? Do you feel like there is a kind of a similar style of play that you had been playing over the past year, this past season?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I made the decision to come to Louisville. I obviously had a few conversations with Christy before I made the decision. And like I've said before, like his ambitions match my ambitions, and the way he wants his team to play is the kind of team that I want to be a part of. So it kind of ended up being a no-brainer for me to come here.
And more general in that regard, had you thought about coming to America to play with the NWSL, or did it just kind of like spark your interest when Christy Holly got in touch and was like, "Hey, we want you here. This is what we're looking to try to do." Had you thought about playing in America?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, I knew my contract was coming to an end at Bristol, but I think for me, whatever I had thought about was in England. And I think when Christy first got in contact, it wasn't like a definite, yeah, I want to go there. But after the conversations I had with him, it kind of made me want to come more and more. And then that's why I made the final decision to come.
Tell me about the evolution of your game, because when I was doing some of my research trying to figure out like all the things I wanted to talk to you about, I saw an article in the Telegraph, which I know, shocking, I do not have a subscription to. It's being here in the US, it's not my first order of business. But I saw that it said sprinter turned footballer. Did you have a background in running before you even started playing football? Did you figure out, okay, I want to be a footballer, that's what I want to do?
Well, I've played football since a really young age. Since I was like 6, I've been playing football. And I think when I was playing when I was that age, I think it was obvious that I was really quick. So then when I got to the age of kind of like 14, I started doing athletics and sprint training. And I really enjoyed that. And obviously, I was really quick. And it's probably something that I could have carried on to kind of do more. But when I joined an academy, the training for like sprinting and football was on the same day, so that's when I had to kind of make the decision between one or the other, and I chose football.
Yeah. And why run when you just are running to run? Like, put a goal in front of us, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Well, there's been some talk, I think, of rightfully so, of Racing Louisville's facilities, which maybe you've just gotten used to over the past week or two, and obviously you got that home game and got to score in front of the home fans. But you played for some big clubs, or you were in those systems for some big clubs in England, and I'm wondering how does the experience, really early days, I realize, but how does that kind of compare in terms of just being a professional footballer in the U.S. and what you're experiencing so far with, stadium, training facility, what it's like over here?
Yeah, I think with the few clubs I've been at, I've kind of experienced both levels of kind of what facilities are available. And I think just being here and having all those facilities available, it just makes you able to do your job better and perform better because you've got everything there that you need to possibly do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Louisville, listen, it's maybe not the most well-known city in the States, but it is a cool city. How long have you been here, and have you been able to tour the city at all, and do you know about bourbon, that being one of the highlights there?
I've been here for a few weeks now, but I haven't really got out and had a look around the city much at the moment, so that's definitely something that I need to do.
Yeah. This is why we need NWSL Live on the road, so that we can Ebony out.
Bourbon tasting.
We've taken Ebony and we're going around the city with her. It seems like, I mean, would you be into that, Ebony? You would hang out with us for an hour to tour Louisville?
Yeah, of course.
She's like, I don't know who you guys are. I can't say yes because you're strangers right now. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you saying yes. There's a lot of love for you in the chat. My chat just refreshed, but I know people were saying the replay of your goal didn't do it justice. They can't believe they thought Mike Watts was going to pass out after with his call, and just that they are loving in Louisville. A lot of those footwork ability. One of the things that I think is really special, this year has been a big year for you personally. You not only make this move here to NWSL, but you get your first full team cap with the English women's senior team. What was that experience like, and how long had you dreamt of that day coming to fruition, and did it meet your expectations of what it was like to represent your country on that level?
Yeah, I think as a footballer, that's kind of one of the main goals, what you want to achieve. And I think I've obviously been a part of all the Youth England setups. So I think especially when you're a part of those setups, that is definitely the end goal. And I think the time I got that call up and that my first cap for England, I definitely wasn't expecting it. So that just made it even more special.
Yeah. Who are those players that you looked up to on the English team when you were growing up and watching play, or maybe some that you're now playing with as a part of that women's team? Your first cap was in February, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think obviously the big names in women's football at the moment, who are obviously in the England setup as well. You've got people like Lucy Bronze and Ellen White, and I just think the things that those people have achieved kind of shows you what you can achieve in women's football. And I think obviously making my debut and getting my call up at such a young age just proves that there's obviously a long way to go, but that I've got a taste of it now. It makes me kind of even more hungry to carry on pushing on to kind of become a real part of that setup.
Is there anybody from a forward perspective specifically that you maybe have looked at, modeled a game after, or just kind of looked up to in terms of what she does on the pitch to try to emulate?
Yeah, I think like I said, Ellen White's obviously a prolific goal scorer, and I think for me the main thing as a number 9, as a forward, is to be scoring goals. However you find the way to do that. So I think that's probably one of my main focuses, and has been my main focuses, is just scoring as many goals as possible.
And what's the rest of the season for you? I mean, obviously it's just the first game, right? You came off, scored this big goal. Sports Center, as you know now, you're famous here in the States. Congrats. And but have you sat down with Christy Holly and talked about kind of what he wants out of you, what your goals are throughout this season, or has it been more so let's just come in, get you relaxed, get you comfortable?
No, I have spoken to Christy about what the kind of rest of the season looks like for me, and I think he obviously knows what my strengths are as a player, but the one really good thing for me is that he wants to work on kind of the things that I need to improve on as well, to push my game whilst I'm helping the team kind of get the results we want to get. And like he said to me, I've had a great start, but I've got to keep doing that week in, week out. And obviously the season's a really long season, so we've got a lot more games to go.
Yeah. Long season and no relegation in sight, only playoffs. Have you thought about that? What is that like for you? Because that's such a foreign concept for people in really any other league in the world.
Yeah, it is weird that there's no relegation, and obviously no promotion, but I still think that the league is really competitive and there's still so much to play for, even though that all the teams know that there's no promotion and relegation. Everyone wants to do the best they can and finish as high as they can in the league.
Mm-hmm. Can you help us just get a concept of what it's like training and playing in England versus the level of training and playing here? I know you've just dipped into games in the United States, but what are the levels like? Can you compare and contrast them?
Like you said, obviously I haven't been here that long to have seen everything, but I think from what I've experienced so far, the training over here is a lot more demanding, and I think it's a lot more competitive. Intensity is a lot higher, and I think the league's probably a lot quicker in the way that the games go. And I think you have to obviously train at a higher intensity so that you're ready for those games.
Mm-hmm. A little hotter over here too, huh?
A lot.
Listen, I don't know. In the Euros, there's that England heat, right?
oh my
Did
gosh!
You catch that, Ebony, in the first game for England in the Euros, and we were laughing here in the States because it was like, sometimes it gets 100 degrees in the summer, but it was like 80 degrees, and it was all the talking point about how hot it was over in England. I'm like, how is Ebony dealing with this heat?
No, I mean, it's good that I've been here for a couple of weeks before we've had a game, so I've kind of been able to adapt to it and get a feel of what it's really like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The last thing we really wanted to do, are you guys good? Can we go to, I just threw in some like fun questions. I thought we could do like a little this or that, like either or. We give you 2 options and you pick from them. You ready to do a little like rapid fire with us? And then we'll let you get on your way and clearly tour Louisville. We got to get you around. We need your roommate to take you out and get you on the tour. But we'll do a little rapid fire. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, cool. We'll go this or that. Just a few questions here. You tell us which one you are. So first one is, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
I feel like this one might be an easy answer, but coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
What did you think I was going to say? Tea?
I thought tea. I feel like tea is more prevalent.
English people only drink tea.
Listen, outside the bourbon, you got to go to all the good coffee places in Louisville as well. Okay, so even though you've only played in a home game, have you seen the away kits? So Louisville home kits, Louisville away kits. Which ones?
Home.
Do you like that? I mean, I feel like our kits here in the US are so different than English. Like it's very traditional in some ways, your kits over there. And your guys' two kits are like by far some of our favorites. Do you
Yeah,
love
I think
them?
obviously when I first saw the kit, I couldn't really not I couldn't believe it, but I didn't really expect it to look like that. But seeing it in person and actually wearing it, I do really like it.
Yeah, yeah. Love it. Okay, if you only had one type of meal all day, you could only eat breakfast or you could only eat dinner for all the meals, what would you choose?
Breakfast.
Good answer. Good answer.
Totally.
How about for music pregame? You like to get pumped up, or kind of something calming?
No, definitely like to get pumped up.
What's your song of the moment?
I don't really have one song, just anything upbeat, really.
Okay.
Listen, we're gonna have you back on, and we're gonna have to know all the inside details about Louisville. Who's the one in the locker room? Who's pumping everybody up? Is it you after a couple of games? Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Last little question here. Off days. Do you like to go out and explore and have a good time, or are you looking to stay home, chill out, and watch a movie?
Definitely like to go out and do something.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
We like it. So we are going to have you back. You're going to have to tell us cool things in Louisville. And, there have been some players from England that have come over and played before. I know I was teammates with Kelly Smith and Alex Scott. And Alex was our DJ in the locker room. So I'm not putting any pressure on you, but you guys really know some good tunes over there. So I feel like in a little bit that might be your role in the locker room. But this has been really fun, Ebony, to get to know you. And yeah, we just appreciate you coming on NWSL Live, and we can't wait till your next top 10 moment.
Yeah, and
Thank
good
you,
luck.
and thanks for
Good
having
luck
me.
this season. Excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
All right, we are going to be back
Thanks.
in just a few minutes with a preview of the game tonight. So stick with us here on NWSL Live. Thanks for sticking with us here on NWSL Live. I'm Jordan Angeli, and we've got a little bit more for you. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with Ebony Salmon. We know that you couldn't hear her talking over the highlights, but we got to hear it, and it was really good. Hopefully we can give you a little preview of that, but she was just talking about how she didn't know what she was going to do, and she just felt it open up and decided to go for it, to go to goal. So it was just a really good conversation with her, and happy to have her in NWSL. Want to just say hi to Birdman26. Hi from Brazil. Pretty cool that NWSL is being watched down in Brazil here via Twitch. There's still a little bit more going on this week, I guess you could say. Even tonight, the games really start tonight. We'll bring in Jeff and Lori now as we preview tonight's match. But by the next time we see you guys again here on NWSL Live, there will be 8 games being played in NWSL. So it is a packed week. A lot of travel for some of these teams, but it's exactly what we were wanting here as we're in the thick of NWSL season now. But tonight there is a match. It's in Tacoma, Washington. OL Reign hosting Chicago. It's going to be a good one. And I figured it would be nice, since it is on Twitch here tonight, that we did a little preview of this match. We dug into what this game could potentially look like for both sides. So I'm going to go to you first, Lori. Looking at OL Reign, where they're at right now, they have some newcomers who are just coming in and getting acclimated to what they are doing there in the Tacoma area. Why is this game so important for them, and what can they do to be successful here tonight?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think quite simply is that they haven't won in 3 games since their big win against their rival Portland Thorns. So to get back to winning ways, I mean, they've had some inconsistency throughout their this short season so far, but also some of that inconsistency has been in starting lineups as well. As you mentioned, we have seen a lot of new faces. I mean, this is starting to feel a little bit in some really great ways, like an all-star team, though. I mean, it's like, who's going to play and who can we put on? But I think one of the bright spots was, unfortunate for the loss against North Carolina, but you did see the debut of the German international Merjan and French international goalkeeper Buati on Saturday, again against North Carolina. So to get a game under their belt, also Jess Fishlock, I think we'll see go 90 minutes or at least start this game. I think Jess Fishlock, yes, she gets a lot of love from us, but I think in general, what she provides in this league, and specifically to the Reign, is second to none with her mobility. So where she plays, does she play higher up the field against Marjan? Does she play a little bit deeper and more of a number 6 role? But then also, potentially we're going to see Lisa Mayer in the mix as well, and then Rapinoe potentially with some minutes as well. So a totally different lineup, I think, than we saw even against North Carolina a few days ago. Another quick turnaround, which bodes well being at home for them. I do believe this game, though, won or lost, if you can get Marjan involved in the game, Fishlock in the game, against the Chicago team that has a good established midfield, I think that's where this game can be won, because if they're dictating the tempo, they can find Huerta, potentially King, or Rapinoe up top.
So Dude Mom 16 on the Twitch chat was saying OL Reign has ridiculous individual talent. They need time to mesh. It reminds them of Orlando the past few years. Does it give you that similar feel of just there's a lot of good pieces, it's just not quite there yet?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a great shout, and it's kind of what I was alluding to in terms of the inconsistency in their lineups. I don't know if I would have made the connection to the Orlando. However, I do feel like that is the thing. And when we talk about early points, this team might, if they can get some points now, but then also take advantage, because they're not going to lose as many players to the Olympics as some of these other teams. So can they build the momentum and then really sustain that throughout July when some teams are going to be depleted?
Yeah.
Key.
All right, that's Seattle. On the other side of things, Chicago coming in as the visitors here tonight. Jeff, it could be an opportunity for them to keep up with the Butcher, right?
The Butcher.
The Butcher going?
We're keeping that nickname going. Morgan Gautrat with the penalty kick to salvage a point there on the weekend. Yeah, I think, look, we've talked about Chicago a lot. And yes, Dude Mom says Tacoma. That's a good reminder for us. CTAC, let's call it. We'll call it CTAC or just Reign. the Red Stars, I think we've talked about their offensive production. I think we've seen it in bits and pieces. We've had stretches at the beginning of the season where we thought it just wasn't going to come. Then I think we saw that sort of pay off a little bit. And I think the potential is still certainly there. It is going to be by committee. It is going to be not just that front line, but getting offensive production from Vanessa DiBernardo, from the Butcher herself, Morgan Gautrat. It's going to have to be by committee. And I think, a lot of that, I think we had our guest last week. You and I spoke with her, Jordan Mallory Pugh, is going to be central to that, no doubt. And I think has been so far when we've seen success for Chicago. And I think will continue to be that. But yeah, two teams, as Lori said, again, it's early season. Yes, in some ways, it's an important stretch of the season, a particularly important one. And, OO Reign coming into this a few weeks back, we were talking about this huge win over Portland, 3 straight losses since. And first time they've been on that kind of skid since the first year of the season. And as, Fishlock and Barnes said to us that day, that is not a season that they wish to remember much about. So,
Right. Yep.
Need to get on track for the Reign and Chicago as well. A team that I think will continue to be, I guess in some ways, luckily for them, they have the depth at least to deal with these upcoming Olympic absences.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that game is here on Twitch, 10 p.m. Eastern time at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington. You guys can check it out. Make sure you tune back in for that one. And as I mentioned, there's 8 games between now and next Tuesday. A couple of those come tomorrow night as well. But really, it's all about Super Saturday. There is 5 games on Saturday. Every single team in NWSL will be playing. And it's all mostly on Paramount Plus. I'm going to run through them really quick. Chicago is hosting Louisville, 2 p.m. on Paramount Plus. Reign hosts Gotham at 4 p.m. on Paramount Plus. North Carolina is bringing in Portland, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Paramount Plus. Houston is hosting top of the table Orlando on Paramount Plus, and then Kansas City will have the Washington Spirit come to town, 8:30 Eastern time on Twitch. So that one is the one that's on Twitch. Guys, if you wanted to on Saturday, you could sit down at 2 p.m. and you could watch soccer till midnight almost.
Yeah, and Thorne's Courage in there.
But a lot of them want. And we almost made it through the whole show without my internet freezing, but I think it did there for a second.
I'm looking forward to Thorne's Courage, Jordan. That is, I have said in the past, I know we got a little bit of a revival that we needed of that Reign-Thorns rivalry, but Thorne's Courage for me for the past few years is what it's been about as far as a real heated rivalry goes, and obviously meeting in some big games. So that's going to be a big one early-ish season.
Yeah. Lori, one game that stands out to you, maybe?
Ooh, it's going to be a little bit off the. No one's going to think this, but I think this Washington Kansas City matchup is interesting.
Okay.
Just the fact that Kansas City has been close in all these matches, but have not been able to get a win. I think they need to start turning things around. And Washington, are they really improving? That's the question mark for me, but they are getting some points. So I'm just curious on how that matchup plays out. Is that an indicator of which way both team season goes?
Yeah, that's the last game. That's the game on Twitch, 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. The first game that Jeff was talking about is the 7 p.m. Eastern time game on Paramount Plus between North Carolina and Portland. Lots of games. I'm sure we will have not only a great guest next week, but we'll have a lot of soccer to break down, you guys. As always, it's so fun to chat with you two. Thanks for joining me.
Same, Jordy. And thanks for everyone.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining in. Thanks for talking in the Twitch chat. We can see you guys now, and we're really excited about that to bring your questions and your comments more into this program, because we know that it is really all about the fans and what you guys provide for this league. So we just want to give you something that you guys can interact with. So thanks for joining us. We are going to be back next Tuesday, NWSL Live, same place, same time. But until then, get to watching some NWSL games, 1 tonight, 2 tomorrow, 5 on Saturday. And with that, for Jeff and Lori and Dana Rubin, our wonderful producer, we will see you guys next week.